So good afternoon. So I am Ravi Inder Singh, Assistant Professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering, Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani. So today I am going to explain the Morse test. So this is Morse test is a versatile test used to determine the indicated power of a engine. So what is this test used for? It is used to determine the indicated power of a engine. Now let's move to the four-stroke test. So what is the aim of the experiment? The aim of the experiment is to determine the frictional power and mechanical efficiency of a four-stroke, four-cylinder engine. So with the eddy current dynamometer and by using a Morse test at the various different speeds. So we will conduct this test at the various different speeds. Now first of all I am going to tell you the brief theory of the whole experiment. So first is the indicated power. What is the indicated power? Indicated power is the actual power available in the engine. Actual power by burning a fuel, actual power available at the top of the piston is called as the indicated power, and that is the actual power available at the top of the piston. So that is called as the indicated power. Now when you are having a four cylinder, it means the indicated power of each individual cylinder is summed up, and then it will be going to have the indicated power of the four cylinder, which will be indicated power of a first cylinder, indicated power of a second cylinder, indicated power of a third cylinder, and indicated power of a fourth cylinder. Now what is indicated power? Indicated power is further equal to brake power plus the frictional power, because the power that is inside the engine, actual power, may not be able to fully transmit at the wheels, or may not be able to transmit at the shaft. Now the power available at the shaft is called as the brake power. The power available at the shaft, BP, is the brake power. What is the frictional power? So frictional power is the power lost in the friction or power lost in the pumping losses, and that is the remaining power is the frictional power. So the difference between indicated and brake power is of the frictional power. So actual power, indicated power, and what will be equal to brake power plus the frictional power. Now how do we have to conduct this test? Now in this test, so let's look at the diagram. So the diagram here is the four-stroke engine. So this diagram is of the four-stroke engine. So the four-cylinder four-stroke engine, so which is the piston cylinder arrangement. At the top of which it is the spark plug. SP1 it stands for the spark plug, SP2 spark plug 2, SP3 spark plug 3, SP4 is the spark plug 4. Now this is engine, four-cylinder engine connected with the help of the crankshaft, and on the extreme right hand side, so we are having a dynamometer. So the dynamometer is a device which is used to measure the brake power. So we are having a different types of the dynamometer. So like the simple rope brake dynamometer, or you are having a electric dynamometer, you are having a eddy brake dynamometer, but other dynamometers are beyond the scope of the experiment. We will focus only on the eddy current dynamometer. Now what is this Morse test? So for conducting a Morse test, so what we are going to do, so first of all what we will do, so we are going to switch off the or cut off the first spark plug. Now when you will cut off the first spark plug, now this engine is not working, but still it is moving because it is connected on the same shaft, it is connected on the same arrangement, it is still moving, piston is still moving from top dead center to bottom dead center, the crankshaft is still rotating. From how? Because the other three cylinders are working. Now the power that is available at the current dynamometer is from the three cylinders. So second, third and the fourth. Why? Because we have cut off the first cylinder. Now we have cut off the first cylinder, the power is available from the second, three and the fourth. But what is the main issue? The frictional, since it is moving, it is on the same shaft, this moving from the top dead center to bottom dead center, this keeps on rotating, it means that the frictional power is unaltered with this. So frictional power is not changing. So what we are having? So we are having an indicated power of this, indicated power of this, indicated power of this. So then we are having the combined brake power of all of the three cylinders, plus we are having a frictional power of a first cylinder FP1, for second FP2, then 3, 4, but for combined it will be frictional power, it will be same for the all of these cylinders. Now let's move back to this. So what is this brake power for? What is this brake power for? So it means the brake power of all of the four cylinders. So brake power of the all of the four cylinder, it will be equal to the indicated power of all of the four cylinder minus frictional power of the four cylinder. Now since we have cut off the first cylinder, so it means, so the brake power of the three cylinder, which are the three cylinders? So you are having a second, third and the fourth. So brake power of the three cylinder, it will be equal to, indicated power is also not produced, since we have cut off, spark plug is cut off, so indicated power of the three cylinder is there. So minus, so you are having a frictional power of the four cylinder, so you are having a frictional power of the four cylinder, so frictional power is not, so cut off frictional power since the first cylinder is also moving, so frictional power is this. Now what we will do, we will subtract, so we have the two equations with us. Let's say we call it as A, so let's say we call it as B. So the two equations are with us, so we will subtract the, so B equation from the A equation. So when you will subtract the B equation from the A equation, so we will have a brake power of the four cylinder minus brake power of the three cylinder, it will be equal to indicated power of the four cylinder, indicated power of the three cylinder, and that will be equal to the what? Indicated power of the one cylinder, that which we are going to cut off the spark plug. So we are getting now the indicated power of the that cylinder, which cylinder for which we have cut down the spark plug. So indicated power of a first cylinder is equal to what? So before, so start of experiment we made the brake power, that is a brake power of the four cylinder minus the brake power of the three cylinder. Now let's move to the all other cylinders. So since from this what we are getting a indicated power of the first cylinder, it will be equal to brake power minus BP1, so we will get a indicated power of a first cylinder. Now similarly in the same fashion, what we will do, we are going to cut off the other cylinders. Let's say we cut off the second cylinder. So this is now working, come back on the diagram, it is now working, so we cut off this cylinder. So what is the, when you cut off the second cylinder, what is the indicated power we are getting? So we will get the indicated power of second cylinder IP2, it will be equal to brake power minus the BP2. So then let's say we again come back to the diagram, and then this will be now working, first is working, second is working. Let's say we cut off the third cylinder, so the cut off the third cylinder, so we will get the indicated power of the third cylinder as the same fashion. Similarly, so 1, 2, 3. Now similarly, so you cut off the, so cut off again the fourth cylinder, you cut off the fourth cylinder, so that will be there. Now you are getting a indicated power of the fourth cylinder. So in this way, you are able to get the indicated power of the all of the four cylinders. So what is indicated power of the combined engine? So that is a 4-stroke 4-cylinder engine, indicated power of a first cylinder, indicated power of a second cylinder, indicated power of a third, plus indicated power of a fourth. Hence we got a indicated power of the whole cylinder. Now once you get indicated power, our next aim is to calculate the mechanical efficiency. Since we know the brake power of the all of the cylinders, so we are getting a brake power divided by indicated power, so we got a mechanical efficiency of the whole cylinder. So what we got? So we got a mechanical efficiency of the four cylinders. So mechanical efficiency is the aim of the experiment. And how will you calculate the frictional power? So indicated power of the all of the four cylinder we know, and brake power of the all of the four cylinder we know. So combined frictional power of all of the four cylinder is now the frictional power of the all of the four cylinder. So this is brief theory of the experiment. Now let's move to the equipments. What are the equipments to be used and how we'll measure the things. So let's move to the equipment. So we are having now the equipment so that is used in this experiment. First thing is the engine. So engine is the 4-stroke 4-cylinder engine. That is the first equipment to be used in this experiment. Second is the dynamometer. So the dynamometer is giving us a reading in the Newton meter. So that is the second equipment that we will use. So here we will use a eddy current dynamometer. So you could use any other type of the dynamometer. In this test rig particularly, the dynamometer that is used is the eddy current dynamometer. What is the third equipment used? Exhaust gas calorimeter. So it is used to remove the heat from the exhaust of the engine. So exhaust of the engine is at very high temperature. To remove the heat from the exhaust gas, so we are using a exhaust gas calorimeter. So exhaust gas calorimeter should not be confused with the bomb calorimeter, because bomb calorimeter is used to determine the calorific value of the fuel. Here the exhaust gas calorimeter, it is used to recover or remove the heat that is going to the exit from the exhaust of the engine. So what is the fourth equipment to be used? It is the speed sensor that is used. So speed sensor is used to calculate or to measure the speed of the shaft. So speed sensor is employed in the circuit on the crankshaft. So this is a whole diagram of the experimental setup in which the 4-cylinder, as I shown you, various spark plugs are there. So this is a crankshaft is there. So on the crankshaft extreme right hand, what we are having a eddy current dynamometer, and on the shaft, so some small attachment is there, that is what the speed sensor. So speed sensor, it gives you the reading N is equal to RPM, revolution per minute. It may be 2000, it may be 2500, it may be 3000. So whatever the readings available, maximum possible speed, minimum possible speed with the engine, so that we are getting from the speed sensor. So eddy current dynamometer, so it works on the principle of the eddy currents. So basically in this we are having a rotor as well as the stator. So the rotor is connected to the shaft of the engine, coupled with the shaft of the engine through some coupling device. Outer we are having a stator, and on the rotor and a stator, so in which some slot is there in which the actuating coil is there. Now when you are passing the current to the stator, so this is connected through some panel, and the panel on which we are getting a volt as a voltage that is from the electrical supply, then current we are passing. So when you are passing the electrical current, volt and the current, so then that will be passed to the actuator, that coil that is in the between the rotor and the stator. So that coil is there. So once that is there, now rotor is connected to the engine through the crankshaft, outer is the stator. When you pass the current, so it will be going to oppose the motion of the rotor. When you pass a current, so it is going to oppose the motion of the rotor. So that opposing means force is there. So that force we are going to calibrate. We will attach some arm, and then with the help of the arm, so that will be measured on some panel, that will be in the Newton meter. So that opposing of the force to the rotor by the stator is measured, and that will be on some panel. So that is giving us the direct reading in the Newton meter. So as soon as to increase the load, what we will do? So to increase the load on the engine, so with the eddy current dynamometer, what we will do? So we will going to increase the voltage and the current, and hence the load by virtue of the current through the coil will be increased, and you will get a load shown on the panel. So that will be the load, how the load is increased on the eddy current dynamometer. So the another feature of the eddy current dynamometer is that lubrication is supplied externally, so that when it will be heated up, so lot much heat is produced. So we will supply the water also, and we will supply the lubrication also. So the exhaust of this eddy current dynamometer, exhaust temperature water will be further passed to the engine, so that the same water will be used. So from the source, so for the cooling, because the heat is generated, we are opposing a motion of the rotor with the help of the stator, with the help of some force. So hence some heat will be generated. So when the heat will be generated, so we have to cool this system. So that cooling is done with the help of the water. So that is the cooling done externally. From the source itself, the water is coming. That source will be passed to the eddy current dynamometer. One is the inlet, water inlet. Second is the water outlet. Inlet will be at lower temperature. Outlet, it carries a heat from the dynamometer. It will be at a higher temperature. The same water will be now passed to the engine, and then it will be passed to the further. After getting a heat from the engine, the same water it will be passed through the exhaust gas calorimeter. For lubrication, circulation of the lubrication, external pump is circulating the lubricant in the eddy current dynamometer. Then the function exhaust gas calorimeter. Exhaust gas calorimeter is directly not used in this experiment, but only to recover. For other experiments it may be used. So since we are having a versatile common test rig on which we will able to measure the performance of the petrol engine, as well as we will able to measure the mechanical efficiency and the frictional power by using a Morse test. So the two experiments can be conducted on the same test rig. So we are only going to conduct first test, that is the Morse test, on this test rig. So later on we will cover the second test, that will be the performance of the petrol engine. So there actually we need the exhaust gas calorimeter, airflow meter, or these are the devices used. Airflow meter is also attached on the test rig, so that is used to measure the airflow, but that is directly not required for the Morse test. So that is used for the performance of the 4-stroke 4-cylinder engine. So let's move to the experimental rig for the start of the experiment. Okay, so since we studied the theory, so brief theory of the Morse test, now we are going to look at the various parts before the start of the experiment. Various parts, that is various equipments of the test rig that will be required for conducting a Morse test. So let's move to the first equipment, that is the engine, that is the main necessity. So this is the engine that is used in the, this test rig. So this is a 4-stroke 4-cylinder engine. So as you see, below is the sump, oil sump, lubrication sump. So it is going to sweep, and the lubrication is provided with the help of the arrangement. So this first, second, third and the fourth, or you will start from the another side, first, second, third and the fourth. 4 cylinders are there in this rig. So in this, since it is a petrol engine, so for petrol, so then we are supplying a air fuel mixture. For that, so this is a carburetor. So that carburetor is a device basically that is going to supply a fuel air mixture to the 4-stroke petrol engine. So this carburetor, we require a air. So this is a air filter. So from the air filter, air will be filtered, air will be passed to the carburetor. From the other side, the fuel is coming. So the fuel and the air is mixed in the carburetor. We are getting a atomized fuel, we are getting a fuel air mixture that will be passed to the cylinder. So that fuel air mixture is created with the carburetor passed to the cylinder. So you could see a fuel. So fuel is coming. So this tank is there for the storing of the fuel. So to measure the quantity of the fuel, so it is not directly required in this experiment. So we will use this measuring apparatus. So this is a measuring apparatus. So we will measure the 2 mark lines. So 100 ml is the difference of the volume between the 2 mark lines. So we will able to measure the time, and then based on the volume and the time, we will able to get the measurement of the fuel that will be used in this equipment. So next is the charging of this engine. So this is a battery, so external battery. So we are going to charge this system, this engine with the help of this external battery. So external battery is to start the engine, to start or charge the engine. So next thing that will be used in this is the So this is what the exhaust gas calorimeter that I am seeing. So exhaust gas calorimeter, one end is connected to the outlet of the engine through this hose pipe. So then this will be there, and then it will be, the water will be passed, and then the same water it will be passed to the exhaust. So the water is there. So the water from the pump. So from the exhaust, this eddy current dynamometer, the water will be there. So the eddy current dynamometer, outlet of the eddy current dynamometer water, and from the exhaust of this, these are moving in opposite direction. So heat exchange is taken place. You could measure the temperature with respect to the different thermocouples that are attached, and you will be able to remove the heat, that is the heat carried by the exhaust gases in the from the engine. Okay, now to apply the load, so what we will do, we will have a eddy current dynamometer. Now this is a eddy current dynamometer. So this eddy current dynamometer, so you could see this, so this is coupled with the engine through this coupling. So this coupling is there, so this is coupled to the engine with the coupling, and then this eddy current dynamometer. So there are the two connections. One is with the help of this lubrication. So this lubrication is stored. So with the help of this lubrication pump, inlet and outlet. Inlet lubrication. So inlet is there, and then the outlet is there. So then this will be passed to the eddy current dynamometer. Now to remove the heat. So to remove the heat, what we will do? So we are having a supply of the water. From the one end, you will see the supply of the water, and from the other end, so the supply of the exit water is there. So that supply will be there. So these are the two supplies of the water. One is inlet, so that the water at the lower temperature is there, and second is the outlet, the water at the exit from the eddy current dynamometer. So it will be used to recover the heat from the dynamometer. Now the speed sensor that I was talking to measure the speed, this is what the speed sensor. So this is used to measure the speed of this shaft. When this shaft will be going to rotate, so this sensor will be going to measure the speed. Other mechanical method to measure the speed is the tachometer. If this sensor is not working, you could place a tachometer at this position, and then with the help of the tachometer, you could measure the RPM of the engine. Now, the another thing that I was saying, so to cut off the spark plug. So this is all the engine rig to cut off the spark plug. So these knife arrangements, so these are used. So these knife arrangements are basically the connection of the spark plug. So now all of these spark plugs are now in a cut off position. So this is for a spark plug 1 knife, this is for a spark plug 2, this is for a spark plug 3, this is for a spark plug 4. Now this is in a working, this is in a working, this is in a working, this is in a working. Now to start this experiment, so first what we will do, we will cut off the one of the spark plug. Now we will measure. Now the engine is working with the help of these three things. So 3 spark plugs, it means the 3 cylinders are working at a time. We will able to measure the brake power of the 3 cylinder. Now why with respect to the as explanation, so we are getting indicated power of the first cylinder that has been cut off. Now what we will do, we will close this circuit. So for a second, so we are going to cut off the spark plug. Now what we will do, so second plug, so this is cut off. Now we are getting a indicated power of the second cylinder. So similarly, third is there, cut off, then close, will get a indicated power of the third. Similarly 4, so you are getting a indicated power of the fourth. Okay, so this is a panel on which all of the readings are measured. So this will give you the load indicator directly in Newton meter. So then this will be the used to measure the current in ampere, so that the voltage and the current, this is one simple device in which the indication when we will apply the load. So this is a temperature panel. So this temperature panel will give us the temperatures of the temperature, like the temperature of inlet water, temperature of outlet water, exhaust gas inlet, exhaust gas outlet, and then some other temperatures are also there. Total in 6 temperatures are measured in this. So but for the Morse test, the temperature are not required in this measurement. And this is a panel to give us the reading, that is the RPM of the engine. So from this we will get the RPM, and these are the 4 things that we have to measure. Now this is all about the Morse test. Now we will conduct the simple experiment. So let's start the equipment and let's take one reading so that it will be fully understand or fully understood to you people. Okay. Okay, so this is now working. This is now working. So we are having this 4 knife panels. So these all are in the fully working. So none of the spark plug is cut off. So when none of the spark plug is cut off, so we are measuring the indicated power with this. You could look at the panel. So you see this panel. So first panel, so load indicator. So this load is to be 30 or 31. So the RPM, this is little bit fluctuating, as the fluctuation is due to the variation in the load. So you could see the RPM. So 2800 is the first point of the RPM at which the reading has been taken. So 2800 RPM, load in Newton meter, from which you will get a brake power as a 2 pi nt divided by 60. So this is a temperature of the various thermocouples, like the temperature of the various thermocouples are there, but in this experiment these are not required. So this is what, from where you will apply the load. You could apply, increase or decrease the load with respect to the panel. Actually you are varying the voltage and the current. So that is one common indicator. So then with this, so you could see the variation. When I will increase this, you will see the variation in the load. So let's take a first reading at the fixed RPM 2800. Now let's cut off the first spark plug. So you could see this. So first spark plug, now this is cut off. As you see that the noise of the engine is decreased. Why the noise is decreased? So now the RPM of the engine is decreased. So we have cut off the first cylinder. So with respect to this knife, so due to the cut off, now the brake power of the 3 cylinder is only available. Indicator power of this, indicator power of this, indicator power of this. So frictional power of the 4 cylinder is there. Now, so this is what the indication. Load is the same. Now previously the RPM is 2800. Now we will increase, throttle the thing so that the RPM will be again back to the 2800. Once the RPM is back to 2800, that is the BP1. So now BP is the same as the previous one. RPM is decreased. Now we'll increase the throttle so that so you could see we could increase the throttle so that the load will be changed. Let's do that. Stop. Okay, start. Okay, now you see this, I am removing this throttle. So I am basically increasing the supply of the fuel air, and with the purpose is that so that the RPM will be again back to the constant, that is the 2800. Now you see when I am removing this, so you will see slowly the RPM is increased. So RPM will be increased slowly. So 2600. So you could see this, so it will be increased. Slowly it is increased. So you could see this RPM is near to 2800. So it is near to 2800, although some fluctuations are there, but we'll assume it to be 2800. So once this RPM is fixed, you could measure the load, that is the BP1. So we are having the 2 brake power, previous and the new one. We'll subtract the new one from the previous one and we will get the indicated power of this first cylinder. So this is the indicated power basically we are getting from this. Similarly, what we will do, we will repeat the experiment. Now we'll again move back to the spark plug in engaged position. Now we'll cut off the second. So this will be cut off in the second. We'll get the indicated power of the second, and similarly We'll move that and we'll cut off the third one and we'll do it for the fourth one like this. So we are getting a basically the different readings for this. As we did the experiment on 2800, similarly you could do the whole set of the readings on 3000, 3200, 3500, and also you could repeat the experiment on the less RPM 2600 or the 2500, and with this all of the readings, hence the experiment is completed. And finally we will calculate the each indicated power of the each of the cylinder at the different RPM. So in this experiment, so what we have learned, so we are learned how to determine the indicated power of the engine. So indicated power of the engine is determined in this experiment using a Morse test. So some precautions are there in this equipment. So while we are running the experiment, like as you seen that, so this is a moving parts are there. So we should avoid contacting the parts so that are there. So this is in a motion. So to avoid, so you should not wear a loose clothes. And then the second thing is that, so you should also keep the pump moving so that the lubrication should be flown, water should be flown, and then these are the few of the precautions that will be that should be noted when you are doing the experiment. And some of the electrical connections before the start of the experiment, check the battery connections, check the fuel supply, and all of the things should be checked before the start of the experiment. Now hence we conclude that Morse test is a method that is used to determine the indicated power of the engine, so by taking some measurements. Thank you.